Yeguso a yehwehwe mrahye bedwani a oka say
Doctor of Medra, Doctor of Medra, sit down. Doctor of Medra, sit down.
It's me.
That's evidence. On Sunday, Papa Kulipa.
Yeguso a yehwehwe MP kura oka sa asemi e na eye Annoh ahemfo ana ehemfo ana nana ene achiankonya a ewo Annoh ede krata ama eye Speaker of Parliament Yewura Abanbabin ese omumu enefo anan se enipa a oka sa asem no omunyini mra anye sa abusha de eto aso ne de ewo manka na asem no akwakoduru eye Blakk Rasta enim. We said they will see every year say or nsem kapa na wasa asend message e dey ama eye Honorable Frank Annoh Dompreh wo ne comment dia wa meki enanu ya me rem na mama ase aha eye AG gossips feel free so be chere wadwen afa video a ohwe hu no bia wa share so ama wo bia bisa etumi aka ya sure say we enyaw asem foforo daughter of a medra commenting ye hwe MP kura oka sa asem yi e wo mrahye begafie eno e na wo mampanyini a wanya ne baabi kɔ Jerry John Rawlings ni kurom ehemfo ene atenankonya ewo ho ede krata aba se MP kura oka sa asem no wagu omu ho fi enti Speaker of Parliament enyi no MPA na Blakk Rasta emuna ya natiko kum ose ade na mompe no kure sa mompe no kure na yenka nkyere mo ansa na mahu ana obi wudi a yenka no ho asem bone eye no kure Rawlings was a murderer.
Now, why are Angola chiefs interested in this matter? There's a lot of unemployment in Angola. There's a lot of flooding in Angola. They have a lot of problems in the area, yet they are interested in this matter. Let's ask ourselves, why are they interested in this matter? It's so clear. You know it and I know it. Rawlings was an Ewe man. That probably is the reason the Angola chiefs are very interested in knowing the identity of this person who has meted out this disparaging remark in their own words. But please, let us look at this thing clearly. Rawlings was an Ewe man and a Scottish man. We are expecting that the Scottish people would also come out and say that they are interested in knowing the identity of this lawmaker who uttered those disparaging remarks. My brother, my sister, it looks like in our country, tribal sentiments most of the time are very, very sensitive. We have to be very careful what we say. We must be extra careful what we don't say. My brother, my sister, can I now tackle this issue? Let us go into it and look at it carefully. Now, Angola chiefs have decided to give the speaker 4 days to unravel the mystery insulter, in quotes, or else, and this revelation would help the next course of action. My brother, my sister, the person who called Annoh the daughter of a murderer, was he right or wrong? My brother, my sister, in the days of Rawlings, we suffered terror. Those of you who were not yet born in 1979, we saw horror in this country. People were abducted and killed summarily. We saw judges abducted and set ablaze, my brother, my sister, the mystery of which, my brother, my sister, is still pending in the clouds. Rawlings denied involvement, yet it happened in his regime. In the regime of Rawlings, we saw women in Kejetia market stripped naked and whipped in their vaginas. We saw people abducted and taken to the Gonda barracks and some other such barracks and shaved with blunt instruments and blades. We saw, my brother, my sister, people who were carried away and beaten, most of whom we were told were dead, and carried all the way to the morgue at 37. One of them finally survived. He went on to move into exile and later came back into this country to become a minister of energy. Do we all remember this person? It was all in the days of Rawlings. Can we run away from the heinous crimes of Rawlings in his regime? From 1979, the several murders and bloodshed. And even at the time, Ghanaians were asking Rawlings to let more blood flow. How do you let blood flow when you don't murder people? Rawlings was a murderer. It's the truth. What are you running away from? So when people die, when murderers die, they all of a sudden become saints? Is that what you are saying? Because we live in a country where Atayi all of a sudden will become Saint Atayi because he's dead. Say no bad thing about the dead. That is your motto. Until we start to shame the dead, like they did in Belgium when Leopold II died and they threw his dead body right in the middle of the street for people to hoot at and spit at. My brother, my sister, crime and foolishness will never ever stop in this country. Rawlings was a murderer, my brother. When the elections came, listen attentively, and listen, people were killed in the reign of Nana Akufo-Addo. What did we say? That Nana Akufo-Addo murdered some people during the elections. Mahama says when he comes into power, he would institute an investigation into it, and he started already. My brother, my sister, who do we say killed the people? They said Nana Akufo-Addo did because it was his regime. Rawlings was a soldier who went into a bloody coup d'etat. Bloody coup d'etat. Shot and killed many in order to gain power. Should we give him a bouquet of flowers for the coup d'etat that saw the lives of many go down the drain? Was he a saint? Was Rawlings a prophet? Have we so soon forgotten our history? The bloodiest coup d'etat that ever happened in this nation was instituted by Rawlings. He killed many in order to become leader of this nation. Is that not a murderer? So I am wondering why there's so much noise. And the coward MP who also mentioned it and cannot own up and come out and say, hey, I said it and these are my reasons for saying that. That is the most cowardly, more cowardly than Baumia. If I had the opportunity to stand before these chiefs, I will honorably ask them to tell me how you would define or call a man who murdered many in order to become leader. In whose regime innocent judges were carried out, including a woman, killed and set ablaze at Bondas, and say, why can't we speak the truth anymore? What is wrong with us? Zenator is the daughter of a murderer. That is correct. But does that make her a murderess? No. She cannot inherit the crimes of her father. Do we understand that? But that does not mean she is not a daughter of a murderer. She is. Let us call a spade a spade. Should we call Zenator the daughter of a pastor or the daughter of a reverend or the daughter of a saint? No, we saw the bloodiest violence in this country in the reign of Rawlings. Many people went down the drain. In my days as a little boy, anytime Rawlings' name was mentioned, we all ran under the bed. I was only 5 at the time Rawlings took over power in 1979. My brother, my sister, we have seen so much bloodshed in this country, all in the days of Rawlings. And today, If his children are being described as the children of a murderer, and we are crying, Anglo chiefs are all coming out, they want to know that these are disparaging remarks. What is disparaging about a murderer whose children are called the daughters and sons of murderers? Do you think that they would ever call the daughter or the sons of Kwame Nkrumah sons and a daughter of murderer? A murderer? Will they ever say that? No, because Nkrumah murdered nobody. In the days of Kwame Nkrumah, there was nothing like capital punishment ever endorsed by Kwame Nkrumah. They rather attempted to kill him several times. But even with that, he was still very tactful and level-headed. He never ordered the pulling of a trigger. In the days of Rawlings, the gun was the master. Soldiers were gods and demigods. When we saw soldiers on the streets, we ran. Some of you are so young, you do not understand what it was in 1979 and all the way after 79. We saw blood. I saw blood. I saw people shaved and beaten to pulp. You dared not say anything against Rawlings. Yes, thankfully, Rawlings also paved the way for democracy. But that does not erase the fact that he was a murderer.
Me sure say we ma show na we Annoh hye. E chen de MP no e kan wo mrase be yafie no. Na obeka ya honorable Annoh Dompreh so ameki comment bi eno wakasa afa ho. Comment ni.
So we MPP ni mapa. Now we go to say MPP for and now say MPP ni any NDC ni ekwa. Bo MPP ni no na yam bu NDC ni no. Na yam bu ye.
Honorable kan asem we na minima duane a wadi e na minnim sua wanom e na minnim de akọ ne nipaduam e na minnim de atrega no amane kasa na mo Blakk Rasta say ono de eje nenim but ono Blakk Rasta onim.
My brother, my sister, when you have empty heads as leaders, when you have people with no common sense, who are supposed to be leaders, this is what you get. May I repeat it? When you have people with no common sense, you have people with no common sense of patriotism as leaders, this is what you get. First and foremost, what did Annoh Dompreh, dishonorable Annoh Dompreh, say in a tape that is in wild circulation? Dishonorable Annoh Dompreh said, and I quote, "Anywhere you see an NDC person and an NPP person fighting, join hands with the NPP person to beat up the NDC person." Is this common sense? Granted, there is violence. Some foot soldiers of the NDC are misbehaving, which has widely been condemned. But if a leader has common sense, he won't go up and say, retaliate. When they attack you, retaliate. You know what he will say? He will first and foremost condemn whatever violence it is and would ask for peace and unity. Rather than saying, when you go out there and see an NDC person and an NPP person fighting, join us with the NPP person to beat up the NDC person. Are they not both Ghanaians? The laws that you make in parliament, dishonorable Annoh Dompreh, are they for only NPP people or NDC people are included? Now the people who voted you into power, it is possible that a lot of them voted skirt and blouse. Don't take it for granted that your presence in parliament is 100% partisan. In other words, it's only people of your party that voted for you. There are some people who don't belong to your party that just like you and believe that you will be a better NP rather than their party's representative. But that common sense is not there. Yet these are the people who are supposed to be the leaders of the people. These are the people who commanded the youth to move out and be violent. And this happens. Today, Annoh Dompreh, he looks heavy and well fed. A lot of the youth in his constituency are suffering from Koshoko. Go to Nsawam Adwajiri. There are a lot of people who are utterly hungry. They even look worse than refugees from some parts of Africa whose names I don't want to mention. You are well fed. You can afford to go out and incite hungry boys and girls to get out there and fight. It hurts me. I thought Annoh Dompreh himself would say that he will go out on the street and fight the NDC people. Why don't you bring your family out? You and your family come and join hands and fight. People like Annoh Dompreh, dishonorable, and Ahiagba, ask them if they know the last time they had a mosquito bite. Can I ask again? When was the last time dishonorable Frank Annoh Dompreh had a mosquito bite? Yet the youth of Nsawam Adwajiri, the music they hear every day is the music of the mosquito running around their ears, all over the place. What point is Blakk Rasta trying to make? These are bourgeoisies who have enough money to feed themselves and their families. And if anything goes wrong, they will be the first to jump on the plane and leave you to your own destiny. It hurts, my brother. When I heard that comment, and he's supposed to be called an honorable, I shiver. The people of Nsawam Adwajiri by now are so disappointed in this guy called Frank Annoh Dompreh. He was one of those who broke the tables in parliament. One of those who broke microphones in parliament. If I had my own way, this guy should be sent back to the gutters where he belongs.
Ghana, our beloved country, is free forever. Yeah, so is it true, sir, we are free forever? Because, say, honorable, let me make a comment. Be say, you're not sir, we are not free. We are not free. Because, who said here, Blakk Rasta, yana. Ebia na obi any party but ottoman because ebia opewasem anase bia wahunu bibi wo mu a onim se obetimi de bibi pa bi aba empeso aso ho na se obegyina bontene ebe kan asem we se MPP enti se Sabiota frache se MPP for ekunkum NDC for nyina why na obedi wo manim se MP ebusia Blakk Rasta chena dwen wonso wadwen kire e wasemi e ho ene sei daughter of a medra me sure say Blakk Rasta address issue no but chana dwen also share wadwen efa ho now we are the honorable Frank Annoh Dompreh enso so akai feel free na share wadwen e wo comment section and then e dey din kan ya ho no ye dey share make sure say obe subscribe to channel no no abo adoma ne so say the be ya drop video wonsa e be kan intentem na bibia no aye kama aha AJ gossips medawasi na mama ogbo ene hwe Magraheb.